How can a teacher with a limp and regretful past inspire me to achieve the impossible? About 5 years ago, I met someone who completely changed how I see perseverance and second chances. His name was Mr. Daniels, a teacher at my high school. He taught math, but to most students, he was more than just a teacher. He was a legend. One day, during an assembly, the principal announced that Mr. Daniels was stepping in as the new coach for our track team. At first, everyone thought it was a joke. Mr. Daniels wasn't young, he had graying hair and a bit of a limp. But he just smiled and said, "I'm not here to run, I'm here to show you how it's done." We quickly realized he wasn't joking. On the first day of practice, he made the entire team run until we were gasping for air. While we were sprawled on the ground, he sat on the bench and told us his story. "I wasn't always a teacher," he said. "I used to be an athlete, a sprinter, actually. Back in college, I was set to qualify for the Olympics. But then, one day, I got cocky. I skipped practice, went to a party, and got into a car with someone who shouldn't have been driving. The crash ended my career. My leg was never the same after that." He paused, looking out at the track. "For years, I let that mistake define me. But one day, I realized that I couldn't change the past, only the future. So here I am, trying to make sure none of you waste your potential the way I did." Mr. Daniels didn't just coach us, he believed in us, even when we didn't believe in ourselves. There was one kid on the team, Jake, who struggled the most. He wasn't fast, and everyone, including Jake himself, thought he'd never make it past the tryouts. But Mr. Daniels saw something in him. "Jake," he said one day after practice, "you don't need to be the fastest. You just need to be better than yesterday." Jake ended up qualifying for the regional meet, something none of us thought was possible. When he crossed the finish line, Mr. Daniels was the loudest voice in the crowd, shouting, "That's my boy." Years later, I still think about Mr. Daniels. He wasn't just a teacher or a coach, he was the kind of person who saw the best in people, even when they couldn't see it themselves. And because of him, I try to do the same.